Pain, passion, and art, all in one, coming up.
Then we move to kids having kids. When will it stop?
All you grease monkeys, stick around. We've covered the 2010 auto show.
You want good food? Well, we went to Little House of Kabob to find just that.
And finally, we get a live performance by Rob Giacola of the Deficits. All this and more on The Journal.
Hello and welcome to The Journal. I am your host, Tristan Clark.
And I'm your host, Mauricio Araujo.
And we're coming to you live from the Centennial College studio in Toronto.
We've got lots of great stories to show you today, so let's get right to it. Our first story was actually produced by the man standing right here next to me.
Indeed it was. I took a trip back in time with Wendy James to unravel the mysteries of her family tree. And well, we made some pretty interesting discoveries. Genealogy is the study of one's ancestry. Genealogists go back in time to find out where you came from.
You begin with yourself, and then your parents, and where your parents were born. You, having intimate knowledge of your parents, are able to record what kind of people they were, and that's where you start writing your stories. You collect them and then you put them together. You're able to personify people and build a character around them, and they become real familiar to you, and you're able to make them familiar to other people. And that's how you get to tell the stories, and that's how they get remembered.
The way you wear your hair.
As Wendy drove off to Mount Sinai Cemetery to see some family plots, I decided to go to the Ontario Genealogical Society to find out more.
There are some genealogists I know who started at age 14, but they're exceptional. Most people start when they get to the point in their careers where they realize they're not going to be head of the firm. They haven't got many more worlds to conquer, and they start looking for something to do with their time. But after a certain age, bird watching and genealogy seems to be more attractive.
The way you sing all key.
You always go back from what you know to discover what you don't know. And a good way of thinking about it, each individual has a name, a date of birth, a date of marriage if they married, and a date of death if they're deceased. They also have places where those things happened. And those are certain facts of someone's life. And people say, well, that's just genealogy, it's just dates and facts, I'm not interested in that stuff. But the dates and the facts will give you access to the records. The records are sort of a mirror of the past. But the mirror is warped, it's broken, there are pieces missing. And all the saving grace is you know that there is a story behind all these records. But the gaps between the records are much larger.
Back at the cemetery, Wendy shows me where her Crombie, Benson, and some Fig family members were buried, and also shares a few interesting stories.
So for instance, there's William Fish Benson. He went to work for the Bank of Montreal, and he was very well thought of, and eventually he was recorded in the newspapers as having taken part in a conference, and they were discussing the effects of the Depression of 1929 and the movement of various governments to become insular and to put up trade tariffs, like what Bill Benson had to say at that conference, are similar to what they might be saying next year with this tremendous economic upheaval we've had just recently, right? Bill Benson married but had no children, and when he died in 1960, there is no one to remember what he did. If someone doesn't say what happened to them, who will?
Keep the memory of.
Who knew you could learn so much about your family tree? All it takes is some hard work and research. Our next story is all you artists out there. When you think about drawing as a profession, you probably didn't think of it as a dangerous job, but it is. The journal's Anastasia Mass visited Kay Pluto, a student artist who found this out the hard way. What is truly inspiring is that she continues drawing through the pain to continue doing what she loves. Let's have a look.
Being an artist is not an easy task. It is a hard process which demands intensive willpower, daily emotional, physical, and intellectual effort. It is also an example of a job that involves repeating use of the hand that can cause problems and injuries. A young artist, Kay, is currently facing this problem.
My name is Kay Pluto and I'm 20 and I go to Sheridan College. A Bachelor of Applied Arts animation program. As being in school, we do a lot of character design, storyboarding, we animate, we do digital painting, sound design, we do digital art. It's very, very different. As for now, I just want to explore all the different styles and see where I'm better at.
Kay had to stop drawing because of the pain in her wrist and forearm. First, it was her right hand, and within a week, her left hand started hurting too, because she was doing everything with it. Meanwhile, her right hand was recovering. For the past 3 months, they both were completely numb.
It hasn't been technically proved that carpal tunnel can be caused by overdrawing. I guess overworked. I drew too much, too precise, very small detail. And I don't know, I just got up one day and my hands were hurting, so I band on them, stopped them from hurting. I went to a lot of doctors about this, both traditional doctors like the OHIP, acupuncture and herb doctors and all sorts of people to find out the problem because they can't help me until they know what's wrong.
A highly skilled physiotherapist, Nishal Patel, from the Toronto Pain Relief Clinic, tells us more about the cause of this problem and how to prevent it.
People who do same task or use their bodies in a way they're not supposed to, or is not designed for, or capable of comfortably working can become a victim of strain injury. Those conditions usually affected the muscle, bone, tendon, or bursa of the joint. The most common one is carpal tunnel syndrome. It is a painful disorder of the wrist and hand that occurs when other tissues in the carpal tunnel get swollen or inflamed and pressed against the median nerve. That pressure can make part of hand hurt or feel numb. The best therapy will be acupuncture. It's kind of a traditional Chinese healing art of injecting needles into the body to relieve pain and cure disease. It definitely helps some people, but sometimes it does not. Again, it depends on the person with an injury and who are giving the treatment. In any cases, injury can be occur anywhere in or on your body, and taking care of yourself is the first step to be a better health.
As being said, acupuncture doesn't help everyone, and it didn't help Kay. So in order to ease the pain, she regularly takes pills and different kinds of vitamins. She also has special braces for her hands.
There are metal braces that I put on and they stabilize my hand. I can't move in it, so I can't use my wrist. I used to wear them all the time, but over the course of time, I guess my hands improved a little bit. Now I only wear them if I'm doing something, like if I have to go somewhere where I might have to use my hands, just to prevent them from being hurt.
Kay will be able to draw once it gets better. She's supposed to come back to school in September. She's sure that anyone can get pain in their hands or wrists, or both. And the best thing to do is to listen to your body. It will tell you what feels right and what doesn't.
commercial sick, huh?
This commercial sucks.
Think you could do better? Come study advertising at the Center for Creative Communications.
Our next story deals with the struggles of being a teenage mother. Imagine having to cope with all the work and drama of high school while trying to raise a baby. In fact, 1 in 10 young women will get pregnant before they turn 21. One such woman is Phoenix Walker. The journal's Taylor Sullivan visited her to gain a better understanding of what that is like.
What does it say? Are these people really my... What's it say? Are these people really my relatives?
My name is Phoenix Walker. This is my son, Keegan Daniel Walker Shepherd. It's not as hard as I thought it was going to be, but it is harder because I'm used to just, opening up a fridge, taking food, but now I got to fill that fridge. I have my own responsibilities to take care of it. I got to clean up. I don't have my parents there doing it for me. It's me now. I left home because I didn't want my parents trying to tell me how to raise my son. I want to be able to say that I'm the one that raised him, not anybody else. And they would try and tell me when to lay him down, call me and yell at me because they thought he wasn't bundled up outside, and I just got sick of it. I'm on maternity leave, but I'm not getting anything for it. I babysit a little boy.
My name is Terry Ann Brunt, and Phoenix Walker is my niece through my sister, my younger sister. And I actually was able to watch Phoenix come into the world. So when I became pregnant, it was never a question of abortion or adoption. I was keeping him. When he was born, I was 16, and 2 months later, I turned 17. And demanding just to do schoolwork alone, never mind with a crying baby that needs your 100% attention. What are you going to do when you're up all night with a colicky or a tooth coming in, and all of a sudden your exam is the following day? Is it your child or your school that's going to suffer? Of course it's going to be the school. It's going to be very, very difficult for her.
The best thing about having him is first that I'm young, so when we grow up I'm not so much older than him that I'm at the age that I don't understand what he's going through anymore. And when you're I'm going to be younger, so I'm going to be closer to him. And I've also got a son that I can wake up to and look at and see him smiling, and when I'm upset I look at him and he's smiling. I got someone to make me happy.
Since we last saw her, Phoenix has actually gone back to school and is working hard to get her high school diploma.
That's great to hear. Finishing school can make a lot of difference in life.
The next story we have for you deals with something many of you might have a familiarity with: how to live on a student budget.
I can definitely relate to that. It seems like I never have any money. Thank God for mac and cheese.
Yeah, I mean, being a student and being broke are pretty much synonymous. But our next segment is just for people like us. Keisha Smith provides us with some money-saving tips and some great values. Let's take a look at it.
Are you a student? Are you a student on a budget? Are you a student on a budget and getting ready to start your career? My name is Keisha Smith, and if you answered yes to any of these questions, this segment applies to you. We all want to look professional and put together for our job interviews and internships, but have a challenge: our income. Here's how to look great and make an impression on your upcoming job interviews on a student budget.
I decided to speak to 2 managers who knew what to look for when hiring.
It's part of the whole package of who you are, because oftentimes people make a determination on first impressions and you only get one time to make a first impression. And in a business like ours, and in most businesses, same as when you go into a storefront, you know, you as a customer, you'd like to see somebody appropriately dressed that suits that business.
If you come into a job interview and you're dressed, you're polished and you're dressed professional, it says that to me, you know, oh, look at me, I'm confident I can do this job.
Being in a professional environment, absolutely take notice of what people are wearing and how they present themselves, not only in their dress, but their mannerisms and so on.
Remember, when going into a job interview or internship, to be clean, professional, and put together. Don't wear jeans or running shoes, and definitely nothing too revealing.
But to come in for an interview and be overly funky perhaps in this environment would maybe raise some concern about the level of professionalism. And that's where it goes to, back to the comment, you sort of get one opportunity to make a first impression. And if it's not the one anticipated to work in that facility, it can be hard to undo.
I sent Jenny, who is a student, to go downtown Toronto and find a professional outfit with only a budget of $100. Remember, she has to get an outfit dressing everything from her feet up.
To me, any position, any job that you're going for, you need to dress appropriately and professionally for what that might be.
I am here with Jenny, who has just finished her shopping challenge. Can you tell us a bit how it felt to shop on a student budget?
It was a bit more difficult than I expected to find, cheaper clothes that look good. But, you just have to go through the racks and find stuff, and eventually you find stuff that works.
So what are some of the pieces that you ended up buying?
I got this pinstripe dress shirt.
Nice.
Pencil skirts, and just simple black heels.
So did you stay under the budget of $100?
I did. I was surprised that I did. The shirt was only $30, the skirt was $25, and the shoes were $35.
Well, I think it's a good outfit, and I think you definitely look professional. Anyways, that is all the time we have for today, everyone. I hope you learned a little something, and we'll see you next time.
Another good money saving tip is to buy used textbooks. It makes it a little bit it might be a little bit simpler to go to your local bookshop and pick things up. But with a little bit of research, you can get most books used for a fraction of the price.
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, textbooks are always so expensive, and you can never get too much money-saving advice. But let's pretend we aren't on a student budget for a moment. Mauricio, I got a question for you. What would you do with $1 billion?
Tristan, if I had $1 billion, honestly, I would get a parking lot full of cars. Porsche, Lambos, Aston Martins.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two Ferraris.
Okay. You know what? You just want a parking lot full of sports cars. You know what's better than a parking lot full of sports cars? A room full of sports cars. Okay. And our very own journal's Richard Pimentel got to do this. He went and visited the 2010 Canadian International Auto Show and brought back to us a story. The auto show is known for its exciting concept cars, gorgeous sports cars, and of course, gives manufacturers a chance to advertise on a consumer level. So, what are we waiting for? Let's have a look.
Toronto is once again host to one of the largest events in the automotive industry in North America, the 2010 Canadian International Auto Show. Now in its 36th year, the show features over 1,000 cars on display and opens to the public after press days. An expected 300,000 plus attendees will cover the 600,000 square feet. Everything that moves is here. Sports cars, supercars, sedans, SUVs, off-road, luxury, ATVs, bikes, concepts, classics, models, indie.
Sleep, I dream of houses in the sky. In the sky.
If it moves you, it's here. It's a great event for anyone, and with incentives for families, with discounts and prizes, there are various games and broadcasting of the Vancouver Winter Olympics, displayed on the big screen at center stage. Technology is rapidly changing for the auto industry, and with small ideas come big threats. The new Chevrolet Volt is the first electric car backed by a large manufacturer in North America. To finish off the exhibit, the Shelby collection features over 40 Cobras and Mustangs made by the automotive icon. Carroll Shelby's legendary cars brought grit and driving force to racing programs around the world. This exhibit is a testament to the respect the automotive industry has for its pioneers.
Wave shadows climb lands of fading days as I trace the light that flickers through the
Where do I see myself? Where do I see myself? Where do I see myself?
Where do I see myself? I see myself breaking the story.
I see myself building an effective and moving campaign.
I see myself turning ideas into reality.
I see myself creating interactive new worlds.
I see myself as a creative director.
As a journalist.
As a film producer.
As a game designer.
I see myself at Centennial College.
Our next story is about a holiday some of our viewers might never have heard of. I'm talking about Nowruz, which means New Day and is also known as Persian New Year. One of the traditional customs of Nowruz is the family will gather a pile of wood and brush in the street or park, light it at sunset, and take turns jumping over it, singing, "I give my paleness to the line, and I take the red, healthy color." There are plenty of fireworks. It occurs every year on the first day of spring, and this year, it was on March 20th. The Journal was able to join in with the festivities, so let's have a look.
Hi, I'm Mona. Today I will be talking about the event and the celebration of our Persian New Year. There are different elements and different things that we put on our table. When it happens, it usually symbolizes spring, and it symbolizes our love towards each other. 7 kind of different things that we have to put on our table, and they all start with S in our language, and we call it hafsin. The first thing I put was garlic. Garlic symbolizes good food and great taste of all foods. This one is called sabze. It's just vegetable growing. We put water on it every day, and this symbolizes our lives being green. The next thing that we put is money. You could put pennies, dimes, whatever money you have. You don't put bills, just put coins. This symbolizes finance. This symbolizes good finance throughout the whole year. The next thing we put this beautiful flower. We always put different kind of flowers. It doesn't matter which kind you put, but it matters if you have one on your table, which symbolizes growth and, getting to where you want, being successful in life. The next thing we put is a little fruit. It's called senjet. Senjet grows in really, really warm and hot places. And what it symbolizes is hard work. That means our people put this seed on the ground, and it grows in the hardest conditions that any plant can survive. I designed some of the eggs. We usually cook them for about 3 to 5 minutes so it doesn't smell after after a while, because we have to have this, this whole thing for about 5 to 7 days. It's just for beauty, it's not necessarily, but it adds that touch of the Persian culture. The hardest thing for me is being away from my family. It's absolutely too hard. It's painful. When I see other cultures and they're happy, their New Year's, I think to myself and I say, what would happen if my family, all of them were here? Like my grandma, my grandpa, my aunts, my uncles. I really miss them and I wish they were here so we could, celebrate this beautiful event together. It's a beautiful celebration that we have. It's amazing. Once you get to know what goes on in it and why we put all these things that we put, what it symbolizes, it's absolutely beautiful.
There are actually several different New Year celebrations throughout the year. In ancient times, many different calendars were used around the world. Although everyone has adopted that Gregorian calendar that we are all familiar with, many of the old New Year's dates are still celebrated.
It's not all that different from what we do now on December 31st with all the decorations and celebrations. There just happens to be in March. Of course, the origin of the holiday is from Zoroastrian religion, celebrating the birth of fire.
Well, while we're going to keep on going with more Persian culture, in the next story, our very own Persian Sasha Akbari takes us to a place where we can get a taste of Persia without having to buy a plane ticket. Why don't we take a look?
The flames of Zoroastrianism have been sacred in the East for millennia. Ever since that era, the West has wondered about the mysteries and cultures. Some have taken up their history, and others have taken upon their food. This is especially prominent with its success in downtown Toronto. Mostly covered by Turkish or Lebanese restaurants, a unique one exists called Little House of Kabobs, which specializes in Persian cuisine. The owner, Farid Karubi, leads these chains in downtown with his natural sense of taste in his home food. We decided to come to this unique restaurant in order to try the unique Persian flavor of downtown and see how it stands up against its other counterparts.
Oh, my name is Farid. Yeah, and family name is Karubi. I like to have a fresh, to serve them nice food and fresh.
But the big question is, what should I buy and eat? There are so many choices, and so little that I know about.
Always, when they come here, we have to explain the food, and with the pictures, and always, when they see how we make the food, and they come inside. That's why, everybody when they come, they like it in the barbecue. We do in the barbecue.
So I decided to take Farid's advice by looking at what's being made on the grill as well as a few special recommendations from him. So we decided to try the famous Persian signature dish. So this is what we got here. It's a full-on chicken kebab here, which is also known as chili kebab. And as well, we'll be looking at the famous shawarma. Okay, so here's what we got. We've got the traditional dish of Iran, the most popular one, known as chili kebab. The chili kebab is a combination of two kebab strips, either being made of beef, chicken, lamb, or other variations in existence. It comes with rice at all times, a tomato piece, a piece of lemon, and even butter for the kebabs. As well, in side order, we have bread, we have salad. So let's begin. As I eat this delicacy, I notice a fresher taste than normal restaurants I've been to.
Everything we make it fresh. Everything as a scratch we make it. Like, the rice we make, kebabs, everything fresh.
You see, in many cases, kebabs are a bit red on the inside. Here, on the other hand,
so much more comfortable.
It's cooked to perfection. There's not one cinch of red meat on it at all. So you can get a much healthier and more halal meat for us to eat.
You have to try to make it, to have a patience when you make the food, you don't have to rush to serve it fast. You know, and when customer, they said five, you know, always they said 5 minutes, no problem, but you have to take care of the food.
Whew, that was incredible. I hadn't eaten 2 meals just so I could try this. Being far too full, I didn't think I could eat the shawarma. So, from Eastern Persia, also known as Afghanistan, I invited my friend Abdullah Malik, who has a similar background to this cuisine, in order to taste the shawarma. Shawarmas are popular Middle Eastern wraps that contain various vegetables, meats, sauces, all wrapped and cut within a pita bread for a burst of flavor.
Thank you. Enjoy. Hi, I'm Abdullah Malik, and today I was invited here by Sasha Akbari to have a taste at this restaurant, just to see what it's like. Let's just see how it is.
Oh, was not too many restaurants around here before. Yeah, now almost 3, 4 years, 5 years now I start different businesses, like different restaurants. I mean, in the Middle East, like shawarma, those falafel.
Shawarmas are normally not a Persian dish, yet Farid denies that they sell non-Persian food.
No, all is Persian food. All Persian food. All the specialties in kebabs.
Normally, the shawarma meat is cut from a rotisserie, yet this restaurant contains none. To which we soon discovered that Farid had reinvented the shawarma by Persianizing the shawarma by using kebabs in place of the rotisserie meat.
So, one of the difference I realized from this for this restaurant is how packed this shawarma is. This beef shawarma compared to other places. They actually like try to fill out for you, and then like with salad and all the the vegetables, they make it really tasty and stuff.
We both agree upon it's great food, and so do others.
I ordered the Stribian kebab, which is lamb fillet. Yeah, and it's very delicious.
The food that I'm eating is called beef kebab, and yeah, I come here pretty much almost twice a week or something, and it's really good.
I ate chicken kebab. It was delicious. It was really cool.
With great taste and reasonable prices, we thoroughly enjoyed this restaurant and would love to return to it, located at Yonge and Gerrard Street.
This looks like a 4-year-old did it.
Think you can do better? Come study fine arts at the Center for Creative Communications.
When I think of punk rock, the image in my head is of spiked belts, green mohawks, and Sid Vicious. Yeah, you look like a pretty normal guy. What's up with that?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions with punk rockers, I think. People are quick to judge and quick to put a title on them and put a negative spin on them, when really they're part of a scene that has a lot to do with positive change and social issues like racism, for example, and other things like that.
Now, I understand you started your band, The Deficits, in high school. How have you guys been able to keep it together or stay together as a group?
Well, it's definitely been tough financially and time-wise, especially being students going to school. But we all love what we do, and we're really passionate about it, and we all know how hard it's going to be to try and get somewhere with it and try to do it for a living. But we're all committed enough and passionate enough about it to really. That's
really great. Rob's going to be performing one of The Deficit's new songs for us today. But first, recently I caught up with Lamont Moore, an up-and-coming music producer, to talk about the art of making music happen. Let's watch the clip.
My name is Lamont Moore, aka Notlum. I do metal fabrication, and I do producing, engineering, mixing and mastering, and I'm also an artist. I have been for the last 17 years. music is my therapy. If I didn't have music, if I wasn't a writer, if I wasn't a producer, if I wasn't an artsy man, I would have hit the loony bin a long time ago. I would have done something nuts. So yeah, music, getting in the booth and spitting rhymes, and that's my outlet. I offer many different types of services. Some of them I wouldn't even qualify as a service because it's really personal, you know, when you get down to, you know, if they're having problems with spitting their lyrics, and find out what measures they need to cut out, and, if, or but, or the, you know what I mean? What needs to come out, what needs to put in, what words sound better.
Never say that you're pretty, never say that you're not, never tell you I like you. I had a friend that said, hey, I saw a poster on a wall at a coffee shop that says they do recording and it's fairly cheap. So I thought, well, okay, I don't have a lot of money. So I gave him a call, and before I knew it, I was in the studio and I was recording my first song, which was Young Hearts. How do you put up with me? Hold your breath and count to 3, you're saying, and I ain't, oh no.
Yeah, it's great. He's a perfectionist. He likes to get things done properly, and he'll, like, if I'm showing that, you know, I'm not happy with something, he'll ask, you know, Shauna, you know, are you happy with that? What do you think of that one? And even if I'm like, oh, he'll say, let's do it again, or why don't you try this? Or so I'm very comfortable. It's not like, you know, it's really good. I get stuff done, and I've actually recorded quite a few songs with him, so it's good.
That'd be a lie. I had many doors, you see, and all the keys to open them whenever I would leave. The door of compromise. Sometimes I look inside, then hide those keys away deep down. I knew I wasn't living right.
I picture myself in a nice custom-made home and 3 different studios downstairs, you know? You know what I mean? That's what I envision. I envision big, like big. I go to sleep basically with my eyes open, like how excited I am every night.
So I did what I said I would do. Priorities change for me, same way they'll change for you. It's real lonely up here, and this shit ain't cool. Swallowed and spit out. The system getting to me now. Now my network is big enough. But I look back on my personal life shriveling up. Not just the game, but the lifestyle that I maintain. If I go back, I wouldn't never change a thing.
And now performing live, it's Rob Giancola of the Deficits with Welcome Armageddon.
"19 years, not one flaw, seen one thing, seen it all. Destination without failure. So what if I'm going nowhere? Did you find a sweetheart velvet? I'll give you every penny I have if you sell it. Well, 1989 was such a waste of time. We'll never waste away again. Well, if this winding road will someday set me free, well, I'll never doubt you again. We're still singing.
a lot.
Thanks for playing.
Thanks
That
for
was
having
fabulous.
me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that was Hello to Armageddon.
Welcome, Armageddon.
Welcome, my mistake. Welcome, Armageddon. Off your new album, Electric EP?
The Electric EP, yeah.
Where'd the motivation for that song come from?
Just life, man.
It seemed that it was a really heartfelt and really honest song, really.
Thank you.
One thing, you got your album out. Your album out. And you're playing. You have a gig tonight, don't you?
Tonight we're playing at the Alma Combo, and you can get our CD online at www.myspace.com/thedeficits.
Oh, were you excited?
For tonight? Yeah. Super excited, yeah.
What's coming up in the future for you?
We have a tour going on this summer, probably heading down for the States for about a week, and probably come out with another CD soon.
What's great about your music is you don't often hear harmonica and punk rock mixed together. Where did that, how did you get into that?
Well, I have a lot of different influences. I listen to all kinds of music. Mm-hmm. So Bob Dylan for me is a big inspiration. So I think it comes from listening to a lot of that.
So, but you had this crazy voice when you were singing. Like, how do you do that? I mean, I'm no singer, but I definitely couldn't stretch it that far.
Well, it totally just comes naturally for me. I don't know. It's always been there.
Well, we'd like to thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It was a great performance.
Thank you.
Great performance.
Thanks a lot.
Well, it seems we have run out of time. We'd love to stay and chat with you, but I don't worry. We'll be back next week.
And on next week's show, we've got stories of a tattoo artist, a salsa dancer, and a radio advertising.
Hey, not to mention Diamonds, Hoop Dome, and the Haiti catastrophe.
So be sure to tune in to another episode of The Journal next Thursday at 4. Have a good night.
Good night. I can't wait.
Awesome job. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. Really great job, guys. I'm just so proud of everybody.